So I'm here with Jonah Hodges. I hope I pronounced that. Legend in the space, brand direct, doing eight-figure in sales per year on Amazon. And he's one of the few people in the space who's actually doing solid numbers and an active sellers. Because most of the service providers or sellers you see on Instagram are not actually selling. He's one of the ones that sells.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. You're close. Jonah Hodges, same, right there. I've been selling on Amazon for a very long time. A lot of your viewers probably don't know who I am. So my first account was in 2010, and I was always reselling on Amazon, selling textbooks, used iPhones. I was underage. I was in high school. It was my mom's account. So at the time, my mom would just resell random stuff, and I was literally just scanning anything with a barcode. We had a lot of stuff at our house, turned into my college textbooks, turns into my friends' textbooks, and before
Wow.
I knew it, I was doing online arbitrage. So I would buy and resell these books on Craigslist basically. After a long while, because I was playing football this whole entire time as well. Like my goal growing up was to be a professional athlete, and that's what I wanted to do. And I didn't have time for a full-time job. So Amazon was this thing on the side where I could make money from, right? Like it was didn't take a lot of time. I just realized you could trade products for
Yeah.
products, and instead of having to clock in, be tied down to one place, what really drew me to the business model was location freedom. Like I was able to travel the world, chase my dream, ended up playing professional in Japan and Canada and other places. So it was a really cool experience. And it wasn't until 2020 when I realized, my skill set of selling online transitioned into my day to day life, which was at the time a sales rep for one specific bicycle brand. So,
Wow.
me, my really good friend from just hometown growing up, it was this crazy thing because we were working for this one specific bicycle brand, selling into the US because they had nobody here doing it. So it
Wow.
was a brand from Taiwan. They would manufacture the products there, distribute to a couple other countries, but the US wasn't really a thing. And so that's really our experience. We were brand builders. So we were getting them into US, getting them into retail stores.
Yeah.
And also on the side, I'd be like, okay, let's start selling some stuff online. And it started out very small. It was always just FBM, like because my day
What
to
year is
day,
this?
this was in 2017 to 2019. As I was a sales rep, it was in between my time playing football. So, I went to college, played Division I football,
Wow.
going to the Detroit Lions, which is an NFL team,
Yeah.
rookie mini camp. Did not make the team there, unfortunately. So it was like I was chasing my dream.
Also,
Got
you
to
went pretty far.
I went very far. I mean, I got to the NFL. I was in a locker room, saw my name up there and everything, and then just boom, like a matter of days later, I got cut. Right, so it was like made no money from the NFL. Didn't
I
really
don't
like.
think people realize how difficult, like, just to get into college. Division 1 is almost impossible statistically. Let alone to go to the compound and do the training. That's very, very impressive. That must have been like a disaster after that. You're like, you
Oh
were already
yeah,
counting your millions, right?
exactly. And it's one of those things like that could be a full other podcast, right? But there's so many things that translate from sports into business as well. Like I'm sure you hear it. If anybody's even played like high school sports, you realize like camaraderie, of having teamwork, leadership, everything like that like translates so well, but you have to have a vision at the end of the day and like where you're going to go with your business in your life. And for me, like being a sales rep for this brand gave me the opportunity to like earn some money without once again being tied down. So I had all
Yeah,
these like little side hustles I was doing, but it'd be like $1,000 here, $1,000 there. It wasn't ever a full-time thing, and I made
yeah.
more from playing football. Where it was like after getting cut, I went to Canada. There's a CFL league. I played in Montreal. Fractured my ankle up there in a game, and it was just like didn't know what I was going to do. And after that, I got a call from this team in Japan, and I was like, they play football in Japan. I had no idea. Ended up like having some mutual connections there and realized like they had a pretty good league over there and only four Americans per team. So it was very selective for what Americans could be in it. It was called the XFL.
Hmm.
And so there's like 65 Japanese people who are your teammates,
Wow.
have to learn new languages. Like once again, I was living in Japan. I'd go for 6 months. I'd come back, so I didn't have like the opportunity to even build a full time career here. And then after 2 years, it was kind of like, what's next for me? I got this itch of playing football. After a while, it became a job too. And, I'm far away from my family, and my wife was in the States getting her doctorate at the time. So I retired that and continued being a sales rep, and this is 2019,
How old are
20.
you at this time? 24, 25?
Yeah, 20. I'm 32 now. So 2020, yeah, like 25, 26 years old. And at the time, it's like perfect timing, right? Because I have this experience with
Yeah.
Amazon. I'm selling this brand in stores. I'm literally like door to door, calling a ton of retail stores at the time, trying to sell them product. And I'm like selling
Yeah.
$20 handlebar tape, like $20 products. It's very hard to like scale. 2020 comes around and no more stores are ordering. And so, like, at this point, we didn't even have a distribution company whatsoever. It was just sales rep for this one brand. And we started slowly picking up more and more brands that we would sell their products for, because you're
Mhm.
already selling to all these retailers. It made sense to just expand your catalog. So after a while, that grew into a distribution company. Now that's my friend's company. I was a sales rep for them for a long time and realized for myself, like, all my biggest buyers are these e-commerce guys. Everyone I'd sell to was, outside of, it was either the bike shops that would also
Yeah.
sell online and they did a ton of volume, or just people who understood like Amazon, Walmart, eBay,
Yeah.
like there's a ton of volume there. So instead, I was like, okay, I kind of want to be this person instead. I will have the online retail store. I'm going to launch my own agency from this. I will sell your guys' products. And as we get rolling, like, refer me to other people, refer me to brands, put me in
Wow.
contact with them, because I was already optimizing listings as a reseller just without having any brand registry. I didn't really know what
Wow.
that was. I just
Yeah.
realized, hey, this product sells 100 times a month. There's one image on it. Like, if we can do the full A plus design, maybe some PPC, it's like, boom, there's 500 sales a month now. And so it
Great.
was like slowly after a while. And at the time, if you're a reseller, like, you don't have brand authorization on
Yeah.
Amazon. So that's a big, big hurdle as a third party seller. Like, if you don't have the right paperwork, the people behind you, brands will come after you. It's really not worth it. So that's what happened to me as well. We were selling, but like, since it was through a distributor, some brands they'd okay it, some brands they wouldn't. So after a while,
Yeah.
your catalog keeps getting thinned out. It's like you lose these good selling products. It's
Yeah.
actually just worth it to like have a conversation with the brand, become a partner of theirs, because if you look, there's 20 sellers selling it, the price is everywhere. So we would just point out all the bad things that happened with these brands. And after a while, they'd say, okay, sure, you can be the partner. You can be the partner. And I would start getting testimonials and referrals. And now we're working with, over the span of our life, we have like 30 plus brands in brand registry. We're
Wow.
probably active with 18 or so, I'd say.
That's
And as
impressive.
you know, it's always the 80-20 rule. So your best top five brands are going to drive the most revenue, and everybody else, it's either a project, we're trying to grow, maintaining relationships. So that's where we're at right now. We've been doing it for 7 years now, and healthy business. We've had our hiccups, like everybody who deals with e-commerce on the inventory side. I know a
Any
lot of
business.
agents don't
Any
have this,
business.
but cash flow, and it's very cash intensive. I have partners. I'm very transparent in this. So while I own my own Amazon store and e-commerce business 100%, I do kick back profits with a lot of our relationships, from brands, from distributors, and that's how I've been able to scale. So instead of trying to do everything by myself, I realized, okay, I can have strategic partners who do the 3PL, who do the marketing and agency services. So where I really scaled as a partner and have a lot of respect for agencies is just how many skills you need, how much goes into it, how much of a leader you have to be, because you're now dealing with so many different bodies, or you just do it all by yourself.
Great point. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Go
you
ahead.
made so many good points. And I think at your size, it starts becoming esteemed. And anyone that I've seen at the high level in brand direct, and I have a friend of mine who does, I don't want to exaggerate, but he's probably doing 200 million a year on Amazon, just brand direct. He's top five in the world, if
Hmm.
not better. And he works with the biggest brands, right? Very private guy. He doesn't know social media, but he's doing exactly what you're saying. Partners with the brands, and what I mean partners with the brands, it's an actual relationship. It's not like I buy from you. No, no. Like, this is what we're doing. This are margins. This is what makes sense for us. Full transparency. They don't pretend to be bigger or smaller. They tell them exactly how it is. And they partner with agencies, they partner with the team, because when it becomes such a big operation, it becomes complicated. And cash flow is one of the most underrated things, especially when you start getting at your size, because there's so many moving parts. First of all, Amazon doesn't pay you daily. So that's strike number one, right? I never understood why. I mean, they want to make interest on that money, but there's so many moving parts. And your volume, I don't know your split if you're doing mostly FBA and then some FBM, but whatever you're doing, it's always a cash flow issue. And I think this game is about understanding how to beat that cash conversion cycle. If you can have the 23 days that Amazon gives you, 15 days plus 7 DD, right? If you can beat that cash conversion cycle, it is almost unlimited money. But that's the difficult part.
For sure. I mean, that's where honestly, getting terms like negotiating with your brands or manufacturers. So if you're a brand, negotiating with your manufacturer as much as possible, but like net 30 really does just cover a lot of what you just said, all the in between, cat money move in different ways like that. And then as much as they hold too, if you're going to take a loan from Amazon, you're starting to pay it back like before you even use the full amount. So you get caught in like paying off bills while still having a healthy business. But at the end of the day, there's bills due. So should we just pay off debt and scale with our own capital? Okay, maybe we only work with brands doing X margin now. So you just have to get more selective too. Or, do like a lot of the big guys do and run on a very, very thin margin. I think patterns like a 4% margin. I don't know what it is.
And I don't think there's wrong moves, right? And I think it depends as well if you're scaling. Because if right now you're trying to go from 10 to 20 million, there will be cash flow pressures. If you're trying to stay 10 million and as profitable as possible, you'll see a lot more cash. But the more you scale, the more sales you get, the more cash you need. So I think that's
Hmm.
something that people don't understand. Going from 100 grand to 200 grand sometimes will make you cash poorer, even if you're more profitable. So it's a
Hmm.
lot of these things. But that's the game with e-commerce. Anytime Shopify, TikTok Shop, it doesn't really make a difference. That's what people don't understand. Amazon is just a channel, but it's the biggest in the world. 50% of e-commerce is going through Amazon. So if you want to be there, great. If you don't want to be there, great. But you're going to lose on 50% of the world that shops. So cash flow is always going to be an issue, but I think you just get better. And of course, the bigger the numbers, the cash flow issues become different. Like it's not anymore £1,000, it's £1,000,000, right? So it's different.
Yeah, 100%.
What would you say right now? Because right now you're doing about what? Because I see your graphs all the time that you're doing about 30 to 35,000 a day, right? That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I still post screenshots online because honestly, like if I'm gonna go out there and tell people what I'm doing and say I claim it, I might as well show my real numbers, right? So at the end of the day, I don't
Yeah.
want anyone to say, "Oh, this guy's posting his numbers from two Q4s ago," like that because when I share advice, it's literally just what we're doing in our business. Like I'm not asking ChatGPT to pick me something to write about today. It's like there's something within our brands, let's take it and utilize it to make it useful for others. And that's the same thing we do inside the community. So like after a while I started getting so many questions and now I do consulting and everything like that. And it just makes sense to where, if I'm have a case study for one of my brands and I show these guys like because I do think it's all about relationships. Like we say with wholesale, and
100%.
it is all about relationships and yes, experience and knowledge. But after a while, if you have that relationship and they really like understand the service and enjoy the service you're doing, they're going to refer you to other people. And like this is any business, right? Word of mouth. If you're doing good coaching and consulting, they'll refer you to other people. I know a lot of people are marketers, and that's like how it is to be an agency, right? I just on the backside of it, if you have really good foundation and team and understanding and like what you want to do with your business, and yes, like even us, we lose brands every single year. Somebody decides to move on or wants to do it in house, whatever the main issue is, like that's why we're getting smarter of who we want to work with, how do we expand our business. So it's easy to get cut if you just buy and resell on Amazon, right? It's harder if then you're
Yeah.
doing services. Oh, you get them in Walmart's brand portal. Oh, you also can get them in a couple retail shelves, like physical brick and mortar presence, like whatever your little niche and angle is. Like if you can continuously do that and expand. And one thing that we're doing this year is helping on the direct to consumer side. So a lot of brands just don't do like Shopify, for example. And if you
Yeah,
already have a brand and it's being searched on Amazon, you should be there. If you have a
yeah,
brand that's being searched on
agree.
Google and you don't have a website, you should have one. So just being like more of a, as you're a brand partner, really it's like strategy and a roadmap of where they should go as a brand.
Like you started, so officially kind of started in 2019, right? Like being more of a
Yeah.
full-time thing. How, because I know, I mean, I started right around that time. The amount that Amazon has changed is it's difficult to even explain to people who haven't sold during that time. Yes, it's true on some things it's more difficult, but I do believe the volume we used to see in 2019 compared to the volume we see right now, it is a massive difference. Yes, you had the pandemic that everything would
Mhm.
sell, but that was a very short amount of time. And to be honest, after that, that volume kind of kept on going and going and growing.
No, it definitely has. And it's funny, like as a business too, we did a lot more numbers in 2023. So I was one of those sellers who started reselling, you're learning the ropes.
Yeah,
And I do think there's a clear advance, like once you start leveling up as a reseller, whether it's, yes, you can stay doing retail arbitrage or online arbitrage if you really love it and
yeah,
you're making good money and that's your thing, sure. But
mhm,
for scalability wise, like it is easier to scale with wholesale or be direct with the brands
by
so you
far.
never get cut off. Oh, one day maybe you launch your own brands, right? Because now you want
Yeah,
equity in the brands or try to
mhm,
negotiate with your partners and get equity, like whatever it is. That's how you level up to just not be somebody who can get cut overnight. Like obviously I'd love to have equity in some of the brands I sell. I don't have any right now. So that's something we're
yeah,
actively like as we're talking to brands maybe from the launch, if there's a possibility, like that's how we should
yeah,
level up. So after a while, you learn you just have to have more skill sets too. Like if you're going to start launching listings from
agree.
scratch, that takes some skill. If you want to work with a brand who
Yeah,
is searched 1,000 times a month on Amazon, but they're not there at all. Well, you have to learn the process of like, this is how you
yeah.
brand register them. This is how you create a nice listing and launch the first ad campaign. So like that all takes a lot of skill. And after a while, like certain brands, they might want to do that, but they never do it. We're just always positioned ourselves as like an in-house partner for them.
And that's a smart way, in my opinion, because every time I've worked with bigger brands, they really don't care about the technical part. In my opinion, if you're a brand owner, private label, whatever you're doing, the number one thing for you should be product. Like, am I having the best product for a good market fit for the right person? That's all they should care about. Knowing how to run Amazon advertising and listings, it is important, but it's definitely not the most important thing if you're a brand owner. If you have a great product, it's much easier for us to advertise it, right? So I do see the bigger business are like, you handle the channel of Amazon, you handle the channel for Meta Ads or for TikTok Shop. We're gonna keep on scaling the brand. And the good thing is when you work with an agency or with someone who does brand direct, they're not your employee. You don't have the same relationship. If you mess up, it's that business to business relationship that it's much cleaner and better. And also they don't have to pay taxes on whatever they're
Hmm.
paying you, right? Or so it's much cleaner in that sense. And that's why the biggest brands that you see, most of them, and everyone that I've talked, most of them, they don't have in-house teams. It's very difficult to train someone in-house on Amazon only, because either you have to understand Amazon very well or you need to have someone who understands Amazon very well. And to hire an in-house team, it's super expensive, because if I'm very good at Amazon, why would I work for someone who'll probably have consultancy or service, right? And I'll be making good money. It's a skill set that it's very valuable. Most people don't understand how much revenue is going through Amazon. They're like brands that are making millions per month. It's such a big marketplace. Yes, when you go to Twitter, you see smaller sellers. That's a reality as well. But the bigger brands, like Amazon, is a huge, huge channel for them, and they take it very serious. In my opinion, more should take it serious, but it's a big business for a lot of these brands, so they're not going to risk to give it to someone who doesn't have experience. And you putting yourself out there that you have experience, it's very important. Question for you. So where do you see the business going, right? Because you said equity is one play, getting more brands, of course, another play. Where do you see the business going, and what's the goal for the business? Because I heard you on a podcast with Avery recently saying that you've decided you want to really dedicate yourself on Amazon. That's the thing for you, and that's where you really want to be the best. And I think that's super smart because you're niching down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like, I hear all the noise about how it's dying out and it's becoming harder and harder, but like if you have those brand direct relationships and exactly what you're saying, if you just find brands who understand that Amazon is a big channel, right? Like these are very obvious things you can point out to these people. Also, if their brand is already selling on there, it's like, do you have control of it, or do 20 resellers have control? Or, does Amazon directly? And maybe they buy some stuff, maybe they don't. They don't carry all the SKUs. Like, there's all these different pain points that's like, if you don't have somebody actively looking in every SKU in your catalog, like, it's not going to grow, it's not going to sell. However you want to position it, because I've done the same thing where I've just gotten a percent of sales and operated more as an agency
Mhm.
side, and I do obviously the wholesale side. So like we're actively now doing both different ways, and I have
Mhm.
wholesalers that want to learn the skills so they can offer agencies, charge for brand launches and things like that. And I have agency guys who they want to start doing some wholesale too for that, like,
Mhm.
diversity in the business. And there's plenty of value of having a warehouse, a physical space, inviting brands over, like just having that home base, like we talked about, I think before the call, like working with foreign brands. Sometimes it's too hard if you don't have boots on the ground in the US to sell here. Like, yeah, you can do the Amazon thing and try to send direct, but even their prep services are coming to an end now. Like, eventually, you're going to want to
Yeah.
have either a 3PL or somebody in the US that you trust that can do these shipments for you. So that's how, like, we earned one of our first larger brands. It was just on the fulfillment side, and we were so local to them that we ended up just taking over their space. So we had no warehouse before in
Well,
2019, 2020. We're like scaling in our garage, all the products are. And then a local brand was like, you can help sublease some space if you want here. And it literally took 18 months of like learning about their relationship. They had an expensive agency that was handling everything for them. They also had to ship their product to like somewhere Texas. It was
yeah.
thousands of dollars. We were like, okay, we'll just take all this for you, save you here, here, and here. And now going forward, like that's been a really good brand. We have great results there. And then she loves the service, so she points us to other people. So it's like, as long as you
Of course. Yeah.
stay in the game continuously, like delivering value, you're gonna always be relevant. And like you said, the numbers do get bigger. So like more people come to the channel. Like if they're searching for that dog supplement, like, and you're just a brand that stays in the game long enough, like more people see you, you get more subscribers. Like that's kind of how we base our business now. We're looking for consumable brands who people come every single month to buy, because you can just build up that trust.
Amazon is getting bigger, and as well, I mean, just to give a perspective, Amazon's growth is twice the size of the whole revenue of TikTok Shop. Just the growth, not because Amazon did 800 billion, grew by 70 billion, and TikTok does like 30 billion a year. Impressive, but it's just it shows you the scale. And I do believe right now in 2026, the biggest danger is looking too much in AI, looking too much at the hype that's going around. And I do understand that. And I do have friends that make good money with AI, but what happens in 2 years, in 3 years? Because if you have 7, 8 years in ecom and you start on, and you really understand what happens, the edges you have are much bigger. If someone is trying to compete with you right now, I mean, they have a lot to catch up. The level of trust you don't build, because you know yourself, when you start doing content, people watch you. Even if you're not getting a lot of views, people are actually watching you. They might not comment, but they watch at your moves. So if today you're the Amazon guy and tomorrow you're the AI guy and the day after you're the automation guy, they're like, but what are you actually doing? Because I'm struggling to
Yeah,
trust you.
I think it's just like consumer. It's like the trust recession, right? Everybody's becoming more and more hyper aware of
Yeah,
those things. So you have to be better at what you do. And if you're not good at what you
yeah,
do, then you drop off. And like what you said, you do something else and the next thing. And like, sure, you're always going to get people still interested in that thing because the internet's huge and more people follow you and
yeah,
find you the longer you're, once again, you stay in the game. So, but there's always a core group of people who follow you for a while, and they're like smart people, right? And that's like who you're going to win with long term. And they might not sign up for your thing or need your agency services now, but like as long as you're in the back of their mind and providing value, which is, I think, the main thing. And then, you're always going to be relevant.
So right now you have a lot of things going on. You have the wholesale community. You have the, as you said, the content is a big part as well now. It's you're becoming busier with that, and you have the Amazon part that you're doing serious numbers in. Where does most of your time go right now?
Honestly, yeah, it goes to my kids. I'm also a father of three right now, so I have
Yeah,
a
I've seen that.
2 month
Yeah.
old, so in the weeds with that, so that's it adds a whole different element to it, right? And it makes you like
No
have
sleep
to
games.
restructure. Yeah, the sleep is iffy right now. But it's also like, that's why you do it, right? And there's blessings and
Okay.
and it's staying motivated for sure, but makes you have to build systems in your life too. So it's like my time is very structured, and even though it's like I'm not minute by minute, it's just like, okay, these 3 hours I have to work on my business. In the morning I'm with my kids, I take them to school. In the evenings, if I need to do something like, or I have a group call, we do the group call. So for me, that's like really helped. And then obviously having people in the right positions, like we said, so systems team on the Amazon side, on the coaching side, you have your employees internally that help you drive the ship, right? So like getting better at that, and then just making like smarter decisions, I think. So like a lot of the times that's just not looking down those AI rabbit holes too far and things like that, right? Because if you have something that works, like continuously do that, keep getting good results, get people wins, it comes back around, like, and as long as you can keep everything related. So like I'm growing my Amazon brands, that's always useful. I can help with that skill to show other people how to grow their Amazon brands. And there it really is no like scarcity mindset with it, because you only need a couple brands and there's so many brands out there. So like some people, I used to never show my brands. Like now if you watch my content closely, you'll find my business, you'll
Yeah.
find my storefront, you'll see if I sell stuff or not. The normal person still won't. So they're like, okay, this guy's a scammer. Why are you doing this stuff? If you sell on Amazon, it's because if it's all related and it all like is the same person after a while, I help brands, I help distributors, and I help online retailers and brick and mortar retailers. So brands, distributors, and
Yeah, no,
retailers with e-commerce, that's always going to be some sort of supply chain. So I figured out like
mhm.
either I'm helping the brand sell or I'll help the brick and mortar retailer sell. Try to, either take a commission of it or actively buy and resell.
You're probably at the point as well that you probably have more opportunities you can deal with, right? That's probably another thing right now that because and the thing is because you're one of the few ones that actually sells, you're probably community always new people are trying to come in, but they want to be at your size, right? That's probably something that is getting busier and busier. And I agree when you have kids, I mean I have only one kid. The time management becomes very different. You look back when you didn't have kids, you're like, what was I even doing? I thought I was busy, but it's a different level. And with three, I can only
Right.
imagine.
No, exactly. That the third is like that's what we're learning right now and figuring it out. So you get your hands full and then you kind of get used to it and then add another in there. So that's been the biggest thing for sure.
Is an exit something you're thinking? Because I've seen brand direct companies like yours exit in the past for good numbers. Is that something you're thinking of? Or maybe buy a private label brand and build a couple and kind of
Yeah, I'd
aggregate
rather
them?
build it to like I'd rather solve the cash flow game right now. So more financing, more
Yeah.
funding at still good rates, build up the cash flow there, and then like yes, either buy a brand because I don't necessarily need to start one from scratch. Like I have
No, I wouldn't
yeah,
recommend,
I'd
no.
rather like see one that's up and coming and I'm helping them and then get in there and maybe the owner wants to be out. Like that sort of opportunity 100%. I actively do look at deals like that as well. So that's something the community's interested in as well too. So right, it's like we're all wholesalers, but I'm not even the biggest seller in the group, right? So it's not always about like everyone wants to be
Wow.
me. There's guys that do more revenue and profit than I do, but it might be all
Wow.
wholesale distribution, right? And they don't do any brand direct. So they want to learn the brand services side. And that's what's cool. It's like there's so many different avenues of how you can do wholesale and reselling on Amazon that I'm learning things from these guys, they're learning from me. So a lot of people think it's just like beginners that learn how to wholesale. It's not really that. It's just like how do you advance your relationship? It's one thing to get the brand direct account, but like how do you do the brand registry? How do you create the listings? Like drive traffic?
It's a lot of moving parts. But it's true. I mean, I do believe still in 2026 you can still make money with pretty much every model. Retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. I see
Yeah.
people still doing serious numbers. And online arbitrage is probably easier to run at a smaller level than what you're running right now, but it's really personal preferences. And I did a video recently about this, about saying like the different models there are and why you should take them, like retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, you're not really going to exit these brands. It's very difficult to exit something
Mhm.
like that. Wholesale, you're starting to get a bit closer.
Yeah.
Brand direct already, it's a lot of people would buy it because you have the relationship with these brands. You have a lot of access to
Mhm.
data as well, and you have a lot of access to brands and sales, and they're kind of, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but they're a lot more predictable than if you're doing OA and RA, especially if you're doing replenishables and consumables.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm really bullish on subscribe and save, like we talked about. So it's like for me, if I can get a brand who has product that people want, that means I get subscribe and save to my profile. How valuable is that to Amazon? So that's one of those things I've always like kept in my back pocket too with brands, because if they're not going to do it, let me do it for you. I can drive this amount of customers to your brand that want to buy it every single month, and like I'm the middleman who has the real estate making the sales, you know? So that's always going to be exitable, but I don't necessarily, once again, like if it happens, it happens, but I'd rather keep building up, find more brands to partner with, because we have a process that works. So it's just like continuously doing that, because it is that rule where some of them it's not worth your time. So like getting better at kind of demoting and downgrading certain brands if it's not going to be there, or doing like a consultancy agency service, but like I can't buy and hold stock of every brand.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because that's what I always say. Like people say competition, competition. I mean, it's funny because there's so many brands in the world, right? If you actually look just on Amazon, and I always say this: however busy you are, and let's say you're an agency, that Amazon agency, right? If tomorrow I give you 50 clients, you'll struggle. Like you can't really take so many so fast. Same with brand direct, one or two brands and you'll be struggling operationally. So it's really, it's something that, yes, you want the brands, but when a lot of brands start coming in, you're kind of struggling to even onboard them. So it's always that middle ground. It's either you don't have enough or you have too
Mm-hmm.
many.
No, absolutely.
And how big is the team? How big is the team in the business?
So in the warehouse prep side, 4 people kind of cycles. We've
Okay,
had
that's a very good
three
one.
that are like
Yeah.
consistent, but we want to get another one as well, but not a ton there. There's more on the online side. So most of our team is from Pakistan. We do work with the Philippines as
Mhm.
well, but probably 11, I would say, virtual assistants that do certain things amongst
Yeah.
within the business. From the advertising is majority of it. It just takes a lot, as you
Mhm.
know, if you want to do it at a high level, and we're spending a good amount with ads now across our brands, and majority of our spend is like in-house dollars. So if we have margin on the product,
Well,
starting out we advertise for our brands, and then after a while we try to get a budget from them.
yeah, because you proof
Yeah,
of concept. Yeah.
this is the results, because it is really hard to get budget from certain brands with no proof of concept, and they already weren't really like hot on the platform at all anyway. So it's like they don't want to advertise. But if you have margin and it makes sense, and the brand's already searched X amount of times, like you can do very minimal ad spend and still get results. So like once again, that's the service that you show the brands, where you can search their brand name and then very clearly, without any tools, hey, this is your competitor and they're promoting your keywords, like you should probably advertise
Yeah.
on your
Oh yeah.
products. So like easy ends like that, it's like showing these brands why they need to do it, and then so much to the point where if they don't, we'll just do it for you and let us be your exclusive seller.
Exclusivity is not easy to get, right? But if you do get it, the upside is insane. It's like, I mean, everyone who's resold, they know if you go on the listing with 22 people, you being the only person in the buy box is what
Yeah.
exclusivity is. But on top of that, you can edit the listing, you can optimize it, and you can run ads on it. So not only you can get those 1,000 units per month, but you can increase it because now you have control of the
Hmm.
listing.
Yeah, and you can actually grow it. Like that's the big thing. It's hard to. I can't grow your brand if I'm sharing the buy box 2% of the time, and a lot of people don't understand that. But like, I can't advertise if I'm not the featured offer. So we're wasting our time here.
When you're working with brands, when you're even speaking with brands, where do you see their biggest misconception is? Because what I found personally is either have the other brands that just don't really care about Amazon, or you have people that don't trust Amazon. They're afraid they'll get their D2C traffic. What have you experienced?
Yeah, a big part is just like misconceptions. So myth busting. If you're talking to these people, you have to see everyone has their own different aspect of it too. right? So you have to see what they are thinking about Amazon. Maybe they sold direct and they already have a relationship
Yeah.
experience that you don't know about yet. So you have to ask them. Because like I said, I had some brands where they'd sell direct to 1P Amazon, but they'd only buy specific SKUs, right? And they would never restock on the other SKUs. And then that's where the resellers kind of took over. So my thing there was like, let me be exclusive on these ones, and I'll show you how I can grow these ones. You don't have some contract with Amazon that says there can be no other seller, right? So that's how
Exactly.
we started out, and we do bundles and we do multi packs and things that made sense, and it showed the brands that we could actually do what we said, which was really it. And after a while, you don't really need those other sellers, and you don't need Amazon Direct.
I agree. Is growing your brand direct and Amazon business what you enjoy the most, would you say right
Yeah,
now?
for sure. Cause just because we've done it for so long now too, and like had so many losses. So like our big loss, 2023, we were doing more revenue than we were now, like I mentioned. But we were doing brand
Yeah.
direct. We were buying from wholesaler distributors, got an
Mm.
account complaint, and our account got deactivated. We're actively doing $1 million a
Wow.
month in revenue, probably 50-50, 60-40 brand direct wholesale. It
Wow.
was like a
Yeah.
$5,000 purchase order, complaint direct from the brand, nothing you can do. Amazon's not accepting the invoice. We go to the distributor and he just wasn't helpful. So, like, working with distributors like that are not worth my time anymore. If I'm working with distributors, I need them to know, like, yes, I do e-commerce. This is my goal. I want you to connect me with your brands, get me in front of them. I'll still take care of you or I'll buy through you, but like it doesn't make sense for their product to sell to 20 different people. We'll move more units. I just got to figure out how to fund these purchase orders. And, a lot of times distributors can help with that. So, with certain relationships, it's about like what does winning on Amazon mean? And there's like certain levers you have to
Hmm.
pull, right? You have to have really good listings. You have to have the keywords and the SEO dialed. You have to have A plus content, be brand registered, have a storefront. Like all these things that if you're in the space, you already know. But if you're not,
Yeah.
like that's not obvious to a lot of people. And
Yeah, to almost no one. Unless you're in the space, you wouldn't know.
I
You
have
wouldn't know
respect
any.
for agency because like that's what I run now. There's so many different skills that's like the buying and reselling that is a skill. Like don't get me wrong. If you can get
Of course.
inventory into Amazon, sell it profitably, deal with all their BS, get reimbursements when they lose your stuff cuz like I have brands that say, "Oh, they lost all our stuff," and like they didn't it was just like they didn't respond to anything. It's like, okay, there's a lot that goes into this that you guys just don't you're not good at basically. Like you have to say it in a better way, but you're either good at doing this or you're not good at doing it, and it's very meticulous, and there's a lot of points, and there's a lot of pain points, and there's a lot of, oh, that's just a bug, click refresh and do this and that. If you're not doing it, like it's trial and error. So my team is really experienced with that. My first virtual assistant, he came to me on Reddit. So I used to post stuff on Reddit a
Wow.
long time ago. There's an Amazon community over there too. He was a private label
Yeah.
virtual assistant. I was just doing wholesale. I was
Hmm.
listing everything by myself. I was fulfilling inventory by myself.
Yeah.
A to Z. And then he said, "You want me to like optimize this listing?" And I was like, "I don't even know what that means, but sure, go ahead, do what you need to do." And that's when we learned like how to do it. And so from there, it was like, "Oh, this is a service. Okay." Like now, yeah, still do private
Yeah.
label stuff. I've done private label as well. It didn't work out. I'll probably do it again in the future because, like, once again, every business model works. It's just different risk factor, different timeline, different, capital investment.
Private label is difficult. I mean, private label, any platform, doesn't matter if it's Amazon, and most launches won't work. Like out of 10, 10 are not going to work. Maybe three, four if you're switched on and lucky enough. Capital is a big part as well, but there's so many moving parts because you're basically going to a market that nobody
Mhm.
knows you. Now, if you have a good team, you have capital, and it's a good product, and you understand that there's a big chance, right? Because private label is that thing that if you get right, it has the biggest potential and exitable value. But it's probably the hardest to get right as well.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, and if you're willing to invest that risk, then sure, go ahead. Some people, they start out with different intentions, right? Like my intention was to make enough money so I could buy what I needed and not have a job. And that was the reselling. That's how I understood Amazon, like a lot of people do. It's like if your goal is to make $1,000 a month, it shouldn't be private label, right? Like if your goal is
No,
you
absolutely
should
not.
find stuff for cheap and resell it for more, and like make sure you're doing it the okay way and buy from legit sources. Like that's the big thing. Don't sell fake product, don't buy from shady distributors and these like suppliers that won't tell you where they buy it. Like I don't work with people like that, and that's like the biggest thing that I teach is don't work with suppliers who, if it comes down to it, their invoice is not going to pass. It's not worth it. You might make money right now. You're
Not
going to
worth
get
it.
your account suspended. Learn from my mistake.
Yeah, I mean, you know it because you've experienced it, and you kind of have to experience it to know it. And I do believe if you want to do private label, I think you should start if you really have. I wouldn't say a need, but you really want to start a product. Like you want to start your own brand. Like for example, you're into fitness and you want to come up with a supplement that you see a market for, but it needs to be a lot of it needs to be passion in the product you want. Because what I've seen is people, and it's not always, but what I see is people that launch random products without them knowing it is that's what you get burned. But if you're trying to make a couple of thousands a month, you might as well just resell either RA or OAs. That will be enough. I mean, I've seen people with retail arbitrage doing six figures per month,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it can be very profitable. It's great for cash and cash flow. It's much better. But yeah, private label is a
And
bit
no,
different for
don't
sure.
get me wrong, too. There's guys doing RAOA who profit $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, you
Exactly.
know, but they've cracked the code that 99% don't. Or, you know, they're not the ones doing all the shopping. They have a team of buyers, right? So it's like
Exactly.
you can scale any operation. But is that the how you want to do it? Like I don't like scanning products. I didn't like always running out of inventory. I ended up not liking losing my profitable listings that would sell tens of thousands a month. So it's like I just learned that for me, I would rather partner with people directly, be upfront and transparent about it. Yes, it's harder, but the longer you're in the space and the more relationships you have, that's what gets you to the point of learning and getting in the room with the right brands.
100%. Last question I want to ask you is where do you see the space going? The whole e-commerce and Amazon space, like in the next couple of years or 5, 10 years, where do you see the space going?
Yeah, so it's already basically there, I would say. The arbitrage reselling still will be viable, but if the brand is actively wanting that gone, that it will become gone. Like you're gonna get every brand in
Yeah.
brand registry. You're gonna have a partner that knows how to do it, or an agency that knows how to do it, or you hired somebody in-house if you're a bigger brand, but you need somebody to monitor the channel. You can't just say we don't know what's going on there because that's usually the reselling opportunity brands. The brand's just not
Yeah.
involved, right? So like you have to
Exactly.
have somebody involved. There's going to be way more brand registry requirements across even with Walmart. It's the same things happening over there. So being somebody who can get them into brand registry and honestly staying around. So if you're either the partner who's buying inventory or the agency who's just delivering that much value and you can make it worth it, we're always going to be a service that's involved and included. So I do think that's going to be around for a long time. You can just look at the third party seller numbers on Amazon. Huge.
It's insane.
And it's not going anywhere. It's only growing actually. And on the flip side, Amazon's got so much going on that they don't really want to do the physical product reselling. Like
They
they're
can't.
losing more and more brands. Amazon 1P is actually dropping brands on their side. So there's like a ton of brands
Yeah.
who used to just work direct with Amazon, and Amazon now is like, it's not worth it, or your product sucks to fulfill. Like, we're just done dealing with that. So there's going to be more of those brands. They're going to move into AI and market web and everything else. So I think there's great opportunity for partners and resellers.
I see it in a very similar way, and I agree. The vendor part, the 1P is it's a disaster, and even if you're a bigger brand, it's just very difficult to work with Amazon. You're going out of stock. There's no rhyme
Yeah,
and reason. Amazon is not great at selling products. They're great at selling other people's products. To be honest, they're probably the best reseller if you think about it. Because Amazon Basics, most of Amazon Basics products, they actually flop, even if Amazon pushes them, which is the craziest part. I mean, we have brands that outperform Amazon Basics
yeah,
products because they're Amazon is not great at building brands. They're great at logistics, understanding how people buy for sure, but actually
right.
building brand. I can't think of one brand that Amazon has built that is like, wow, I can't really think about that.
Yeah, they don't want to do that either. So it's like, and depending on brand, right? We already know people are buying into brands. So if you're a brand who
Yeah.
has been around for a while, or you do well in retail, Walmart, TikTok Shop, whatever it is, you should be on Amazon. The stats are clear as day. So
Yeah.
either, and everyone says they're going to do it right, or they're onto it soon, but you need to do it now because it just gets harder and more expensive
Yeah.
the longer you're on. And those legacy brands who have been on the platform, like as we know, the listings become seasoned, they get more reviews, more subscribers, like everything's better. You just have to get on soon.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to this brand actually at the
Exactly.
gym. It was hilarious. This guy has already exited a company before. He's asked me what I do and he was interested. He's like, "Oh, 10% of our revenue is Amazon." And he's building these new brands. And I was like, "Are you on there right now?" He said, "No, we're going to wait till we're doing 8 figures." I'm like, I just
Wow.
debunked that. Like, well, why not? Because you're already, if you're doing that much volume, somebody is searching for your products. There's already a number
Oh
of
yeah.
buyers who only will shop on Amazon, right? So that's exactly why you should be there. It's just like real estate.
It's 50% of all e-commerce is Amazon, over 50%. So everyone is on Amazon. So if you're not on Amazon, people are going to buy your competitors. As simple as that. So it's really it's really that. But Jonah, thank you very much for coming on. Really enjoyed it. Very knowledgeable, and we'll stay in touch. Thank you very much.